With some people spending up to 90% of their time indoors, especially during the winter, it's important to consider what is happening to the dust. Heat created by central heating causes air currents, making any dust rise into the air, where it can be inhaled or come into contact with human skin.
When you switch on the radiators, you create convective currents, and these currents actually lift the particles, especially the small particles, which are the most harmful ones, into the air, and then they start going into the lungs.
When you compare the two most common methods for heating rooms, wall-mounted radiators and underfloor heating, the distribution of particles reveals the risk areas for coming into contact with dust. For the wall-mounted radiator, cold air is sucked in through the bottom, pulling particles from the floor inside it. A warm plume then takes particles from inside or behind the radiator and pushes them up to the roof. Once the warm air reaches the roof, it spreads out and cools, spreading particles across the room. For underfloor heating, particles rise up into the air across the room with a main flume in the centre of the room, reaching the roof before settling down again as the temperature equalises. After 200 seconds, the number of particles remaining in the air for the underfloor heating reaches zero, whilst for radiators, up to 10% of the dust is still remaining in the air. It's important to note that wall-mounted radiators deposit more dust on the floor, while underfloor heating leaves more particles on the ceiling. The last factor in particle movement is the indoor heating being switched on for the first time in the autumn, increasing humid exposure. For wall-mounted radiators, the heating lifts dust from inside and behind radiators that has built up over the summer, as well as the change in airflow moving dust that previously was not disturbed.
There are estimated about 9,000 different particles in the air. Some of them not harmful, but some are.
We found that one paper said that the dust that's moved around a room, the occupants that are closer to the radiator have the greatest exposure to that dust.